and welcome to episode 9 of the Friday edition of Ripping the Rack podcast. I am your co-host, Tim. With me today, as always. Oh, he's going to jump right over me.
Nice. I am, yeah. I threw you under the bus the other day when we were talking to Aaron Badsford about the other podcast, so I'll just jump over you this time. Merry Christmas, everybody. Ho, ho, ho. It's your fat man that's not bringing you presents.
Merry Christmas. It is a special Christmas Eve edition of the Friday edition on a Thursday of Ripping the Rack podcast.
We confused you yet?
Because I'm confused, but I'm perpetual.
Well, that's you, Mr. Tim.
That is. How are you, Bo?
I'm good. Hey, check this out. Picked this up for the desk the other day. New little addition to the man cave.
Nice.
Yeah, I got it for 75 cents at Goodwill. So.
Well, there you go.
Thought it was pretty cool. So now it's down here and it's sitting next to my little Stimpy man that sits here too.
Yeah.
So I'll have to once I get the ceiling put in on the basement, I'll give a tour on the podcast of my man cave.
Well, I am going to be moving my office. Right now, I'm currently in Jordan's old bedroom. Hence the reason for the Space Jam poster.
Hey, if you don't want the Space Jam poster, it can sit prominently in my man cave.
Oh no! I'm keeping the Space Jam poster. But I will be moving hopefully next week down into the basement. We have an office down there that I'm going to rearrange, redecorate, and hopefully have a new camera and new setup for.
Is the office a nice way of saying man cave? Like, because I just I could call this my office. It's luxury, I guess.
Well, I need an office for my work. So there
was actually a guy I was reading about, and he won the lottery. Like, good for him. But he actually rented out an office in an office building for his man cave. So he just goes there during the day and just hangs out and plays video games, like in an office building.
I'm not going to lie. If I won like the Powerball or the Mega Millions right now, which is like up over 300 million.
I know. I got to buy a ticket. I'm scared to go into grocery stores.
I would absolutely. I would go. You know what I'd do? Because I'd go to the Breakwater building. So those of you in the Mid-Coast area know the Breakwater building. Those of you that don't live in the Mid-Coast area, which is 99.9% of the people that listen to this podcast, it's just an old, redone,
an old Nautica building. That's where a lot of the Nautica clothes came out of.
Yeah, it was a mill.
Yeah, and it also was where Tim and I where we worked for a while.
Yeah,
we were with Red Zone.
I would rent an office, and I would do that.
I think we know the building coordinator, so that wouldn't be hard.
Yeah, I would do that. Either that, or I would just build another one.
You could build a he shed.
It would definitely
a he shed.
Definitely have a he shed. Nice size.
That Cheryl doesn't burn it down.
Well, I would definitely have my own bowling alley, 2 lanes.
Oh. Faux show.
Yeah, I would have people over. We'd have tournaments there.
If you got 4, we could have a 4-team league, and you could be sanctioned, and we could bowl on a Tim shed.
No, I want 2 lanes, and we're gonna bring.
Can you have a 2-team league?
I don't know, but we won't have it. What it'll be is, and I've thought about this. Now you got to remember, I drive. I'm on the road quite a bit. And I'm by myself when I'm on the road, so I have a lot of time to think.
I'll send you a whole list of podcasts to listen to.
So, I listen to. Well, I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts because my van is really loud because it has snow tires on, and my samples in the back that rattle and shit like that. So,
just wear your headphones while you drive.
Oh yeah, because
you don't need to hear any. You ever seen those people? Not to interrupt you, but you ever seen those people that have like their earbuds in while they're driving? And I'm like, what if somebody beeps at you? Like, what if your car makes that noise like you're crossing the center line? Like, you're an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, I had an old car years and years. My first car actually was a 1980 Pontiac Phoenix. For those of you who don't know what kind of car that is it's bench seats in the front, bench seats in the back, and it's 4 on the floor. Meaning my stick is coming up from the floor, and I'm ready to go. This thing was a fucking beast. I love this car. I had one brake line left. I didn't know that. It wouldn't stop very good. And I was like, man, this thing stops for shit. Well, that's because I only had one working brake line. So I had one brake that actually worked. Anyway, and by the way, that was a trip to New York on that with that. Go figure. Still alive. But the radio didn't. But the radio didn't work. So
Boombox.
I had my boombox, and a lot of times I would put my headphones in when I was driving.
We may need to explain to some of our younger listeners, like your son, Jordan's age, what a boombox is.
That is true. That is true. A boombox, typically, a good one was maybe about that. Sorry, about that big.
Oh no, the good ones, like you used to see
the good ones
videos were
yeah. I'm talking about the ones that we could afford.
Oh, they were like this big.
They're that big. Sit on your shoulder. Speakers right here.
They played cassette tapes.
And then you got real fancy, and you got one that played CDs.
But you couldn't lug that one around because it skipped.
That is true.
But you would roll up to the basketball courts, and everybody would bring their music on their tapes or CDs, and you'd put the boombox down, and you'd hit play, and there was no skip track. You fast forward and rewind.
Yep. And what you recorded was off the radio. So you always got.
You hated when they talked through the last part of the song. You were like,
you're like, oh, really?
92 Moose, you're ruining my vibe, man.
Yeah.
Actually, I was a CYY kid. I listened to WCYY.
So, God, I don't. Back then, I mean, we're talking
BLM.
Early 80s for me. Would have been BLM. And then, of course, living in Norway was OXO. But that was more country music, so you only listen to OXO to find out if you had school or not.
Now you get a text message.
Or listening to the Red Sox or something like that. So yeah.
To listen to the Red Sox here in Maine, you go 96.3 The Big Jab.
That's right. Love the Big Jab.
Yep.
I do. I listen to the Big. So that's what I listen to when I'm in the van. I'll have the morning show on, then I have Dan Patrick show, and then it's
when I lived in Augusta and I worked in Rockland, well, various other places too. When I managed the Maritime Farm stores and was going all over God's creation. Sometimes it was the Jab, depending on my shift. Most of the time it was JT the Brick at like 4 a.m.
Yeah. I did, and I do like the PM Jab.
I like
Javier,
PM Jab.
Javier and Danks. They're fun to listen to. So I bookend. I got the morning jab and then the PM jab that I tend to listen to. But yeah. So what's your Christmas looking like, Bob?
The in-laws are here. We are social distancing as much as possible and wearing masks, but they wanted to see Colin, and I'm not going to keep anybody from seeing their grandkid. We're being as responsible as we can be, and they've quarantined for over a week already when they were in Millinocket. So we're doing the best we can with the situations. My dad will come over, same thing, wearing a mask, and we'll all sit in different spots in the house and eat dinner and open presents. And then, hopefully at some point get back to normal. My wife, she is a healthcare worker. She's a pharmacist, so she did get her first round yesterday.
Nice.
Of Moderna's vaccine. So.
Yep. So you're hoping for that third and fourth nipple to grow out.
Not on her. I want those. I'm selfish. Oh. Okay. I asked for the ones with extra microchips from Bill Gates. I want to make sure. I want to make sure he can track me really well. But no, Our Christmas we're going to try and be as normal as possible. I'm making lasagna tonight. That's a tradition. I make lasagna on Christmas Eve. It's one of my favorite foods. It's just a bear to make, so I don't make it that often. And then ham dinner on Christmas, and then ham salad till New Year's. Nice. What's your plans?
So I was actually, as you were doing that, I was bringing up, Kelly had a great post yesterday It's a great explanation of how the Moderna COVID vaccine works in regular, normal wording.
Yeah, the mRNA. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you read this?
Yes.
So
yeah.
So it's kind of long, but I'm going to read it because I think it's important for people to understand just how the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines work.
Yeah, and then you have AstraZeneca that's coming out as well,
Yes.
probably in the new year. And Johnson & Johnson's got delayed. They had an issue. So
I'm going to read this.
I believe this gentleman that tweeted this is a doctor, or he is an infectious disease expert or something like that.
Yeah, he's either a pharmacist, a doctor, or some type of infectious disease expert. So this is coming from an expert. Science, folks. Hashtag science. Pound me science. Whatever you want to say it. You know?
Yeah.
Pound me science. Pound me. So the mRNA vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna, are kind of brilliant at a science level. I've had a few people in my real non-Twitter life ask me to explain how it works, so I'm going to try my best here in this thread while I'm waiting for a patient to show. Must be doctor. The first thing to know is how your immune system works. Basically, your immune cells attack anything foreign to your body. If it sees a protein or a virus or a bacteria or anything that it doesn't recognize, it launches an attack. If it's fighting off a virus, for example, it takes time to build up a full attack. It's got to figure out what part of the virus to attack and ramp up production of what it needs to attack for those parts. That can take a few days. Meanwhile, the virus is replicating and expanding. Once it fights off the virus, though, it remembers it. You've got memory cells in your immune system, and if you run into that virus again, your memory cells say, hey, I've seen this asshole before. Your body uses it. Yeah, your body uses its past experience to demolish the virus before it can make you sick. So with that in mind, we return to the vaccine. Scientists looked at the COVID virus and saw a protein on the outside of the virus that looked like a good candidate to launch an immune attack against. That protein, by the way, is an important one for the virus. It uses that protein to get into your cells. That protein makes the virus more infectious. In short, that protein makes the virus more of an asshole. Good. Now, COVID has...
It's its hype man.
It's its hype man. Now, COVID has DNA in it that codes for all of its parts. So scientists looked at the entire DNA sequence of virus and found the sequence of DNA that is the blueprint for that protein, the asshole protein. Side note, DNA is the blueprint to make things in a cell. Cells take the DNA and transcribe it into RNA. The RNA is the instructions that tell the cell what to make. mRNA, literally messenger RNA, literally just gives instructions to the cell to make something. So scientists took the blueprint for the asshole protein on COVID and made an mRNA version of it. Literally just the instructions on how to make that protein. These instructions are the vaccine. Let me explain. The vaccine contains no actual part of the virus. It has only the instructions on how to make the asshole protein, so you can't get infected with COVID from the vaccine. You just get the instructions. Your cells see these instructions and say, sure, I'll make this. So your cells make a bunch of the asshole protein. Your immune system sees this new protein you're producing and immediately says, what the fuck is this? And it starts attacking the protein. Remember, it hasn't seen this protein before. It takes a while to ramp up production. Then it launches an all-out war against the asshole protein. The fevers, chills, muscle soreness, etc. you might get as a vaccine side effect is your body bombing the hell out of the asshole protein. So you destroy the asshole protein, which in and of itself can't infect you. It's just a protein, not the virus. So here's the important part. Your memory cells remember the asshole protein. They remember exactly how to destroy it. By the way, your body breaks down the mRNA instructions that you got with the vaccine pretty quickly too. That's normal. You don't need a bunch of instructions hanging around forever. Your body breaks those down and gets rid of them. So you've broken down the mRNA instructions. You've destroyed asshole proteins. Everything from the vaccine is gone, except for those memory cells who remember that protein very well. So then a COVID virus enters your body. Your body has never seen the virus before, but it's seen that protein that's on the outside of the virus. Your memory cells say, "You've got to be kidding me. This asshole again? Get the fuck out of here." Your body's own natural immune system quickly and efficiently launches an all-out war using the template it has from when it destroyed the asshole protein last time. It destroys the virus before it can take hold, replicate, and make you sick. Congratulations, now you're immune to COVID. You've got the blueprints to defeat it as soon as it enters your body. What if the virus mutates so it doesn't produce the asshole protein anymore? Well, since it uses the asshole protein to get into your cells, if it mutates away from that asshole protein, it'll probably be less infectious. That's what makes this vaccine low-key brilliant.
So basically, you get sent, and I'll put this in sports terms. So you're playing COVID-19, the COVID-19 football team. What you get with the vaccine is getting their playbook. And you get to read that playbook and develop a battle plan. So when they take the field and they run a play, you go, I've seen this shit before. You're getting destroyed.
Yes. Yes.
Or it's a bouncer in a bar.
Or it's a bouncer in a bar.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna escort you out.
Yep.
Might physically escort you out, but it's going to escort you out.
And I know that people are like, oh, well, they developed this awful fast, and it's not set. When you have unlimited money, because people that these nut jobs think are trying to track us. Bill Gates is one of the richest men in the world, and he decided he wanted to help, as he's done for a very long time. He's a very big philanthropist. And he threw a lot of money at this to help make this go away. When you have unlimited resources and unlimited money, science can happen very fast. And just in my opinion, maybe we should take money away from building nuclear weapons and maybe put it in science, and shit like this might not happen again.
Science is cool. I don't understand science. I was never science was not my forte in high school. Or middle school or elementary school. I did okay in science, but that's because I like to set things on fire, and that was always fun when you got the Bunsen burners out and shit.
Yep.
So, fire. Anyway,
but yeah. I mean, like Kelly tweeted, or Kelly put that on Facebook, and she understood it already. Anyways, I mean, she explained to me months ago how this was going to work. She's a pharmacist. She should have a good understanding of how vaccines work. That's her job. Right. That's her job, is to... She is the one where the doctor goes, I'm going to give you this. And then when my wife gets it and goes, no, because you take that, this will kill you. We're not going to do that. Right. We don't want to kill you. Yeah. So, yeah. Because believe it or not, sometimes doctors aren't always up to snuff on all the new medications. Because as Kelly says, there's hundreds of new medications a year. Right. No, I'll get the vaccine as soon as I can. Same here. It's going to be a while, obviously, for me. Angie gets it next week or the week after, because she does work in a nursing home. So yeah, my uncle will get it next week. He is in long-term care in Portland, so yeah, that is important as well. With her getting it, that'll obviously make me feel a little better about her working in a long-term facility. Mm-hmm. And I'll get it when I can. But I take reasonable care. I mean, no one's perfect, but I wear my mask out and about. I sanitize quite a bit. I have my bubble. Yes, granted, part of our bubble lives in Millinocket, but they don't have a bubble up there. All their old friends have moved away, so they're just there in the winter because camp. Yep. They don't want to plow camp in the summer or in the winter. So, long way to answer about Christmas. That you asked me about Christmas is it's highly different this year. We are not having Christmas with my mom. We are not having Christmas with my dad. We are not having Christmas with Angie's mom. This is the first time you guys haven't done cookies in how long? So this was a tradition that my mother has done for 50
How old's my brother? Let's see. How old am I? 49. My brother's 54, 55. So 55 years, call it. We've had Cookie Sunday where
You guys should
uh,
do it over Zoom. Everybody get on Zoom and make cookies together.
no, my mother makes the cookies and then we go eat them. That's
You
part of the
got
tradition.
you guys couldn't just make cookies and decorate them with your mom so she could have her cookie tradition? Like,
My mom makes the goddamn cookies and I eat them. That is the
what
tradition.
if she made them, sent them to you, and then you got on Zoom and decorated them and ate them?
Well, I'm not trusting it to go through the USPS. I'll never receive them.
What package? That's your
Right.
tracking information through USPS. What package?
What package? No, so we've delayed. So what we're doing, like with my mom and that side of the family, so my mom, my brother, my sister, my aunt and uncle, we actually have rented an Airbnb in July for 3 days. I guess I was hoping for. Yeah, well, that's what we're doing. We're gonna do Christmas in July, with my family, with that side of the family. My father's side, we'll get together sometime this spring probably, and then Angie's mother, I'm assuming sometime this spring as well, would be my guess. So all we've got is we're staying home for the first time, and well, first time ever that we've stayed home for Christmas. I'm gonna wake up in my own bed for the first time in 27 years, 6 years, or whatever it is.
Wow.
Normally it's my mom's Christmas Eve. We spend the night and come home Christmas Day. Excuse me. I'm all verklempt.
You got the COVIDs, don't you?
I do. Yeah, that was definitely a COVID cough. So no, the boys will come over at some point tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be,
the cats will hate it.
Yeah, so we'll have the grandpups and the girlfriends and us. So there'll be what, 8 of us, roughly, our bubble, so to speak. Yep. And as long as the power stays on, we'll do Christmas here.
Yep. Yeah.
So Christmas 2020 is definitely going to be Christmas 2020, considering it's going to blow. It's supposed to have wind gusts of up to 60 miles an hour, 60, 65 mile per hour.
It is going to be warmer for Christmas this year than it was for Halloween and Thanksgiving.
Yes. Yeah, it's
supposed to be almost... folks in Rockland, it will be 60. They said it's the high.
Yep.
And none of the golf courses are open. Fuck.
Nope, because all the snow's on the ground, which will be gone come the rain tomorrow, because we're supposed to get a couple inches of rain with the blowing gales.
We got nor'easter, bud.
No, it's a south wind.
Oh.
Which is why they're saying it's going to be a bigger problem, because the wind's coming from the south, which is not a normal wind.
The other side of my house is going to get washed. Okay,
yes. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, your other side getting washed this time. Yeah. So, yeah. Oh, good news. Bruins. We got hockey.
Bruins. Yay, Bruins.
Hockey coming back.
Yep. Basketball started last night. Celtics with a big win. Jason Tatum called game.
Hopefully called bank first.
He just called game.
I got it. And this is the one thing that drives me nuts about the NBA. Now, look, I am a lifelong Celtics fan. I love the Celtics. I love basketball. I cannot stand the fact that you're down 1 with 8.5 seconds to go, and your best shot that you took is over the reigning MVP as a step back 3-pointer. I mean, granted, yes, he made it. Okay, great, it went. But you got 8.5 seconds to get to the rack. To get to the rack, take it to the hoop.
Well, we saw how that worked with Giannis. You could take it to the hoop and get fouled if you can't make them.
Well, granted, he never should have called a foul in the first place. That was a bullshit call.
It's Giannis. He's
by a referee who was not in position to make that call.
He's getting that call a lot.
I know he is, but it's stupid. I hate that. I hate the superstar treatment. It started back in the mid to late 80s with Magic with Michael Jordan.
The Jordan rules.
The Jordan rules. And then it's morphed into all fucking superstars getting calls or non-calls
or flopping.
And it's like I'm sorry, but LeBron James is one of the best athletes out there. The dude is 6'8", 275 pounds. You're telling me that a normal guy's going to knock him down? It looks like he got shot. Come on.
Yeah. Well, that's just how the NBA is now.
I know. I don't like it. That's why I like hockey.
I do too. I like hockey because it's fast-paced. It's fun to watch.
So, speaking of fast-paced and fun to watch, I understand you're trying to get into soccer.
Yeah, I don't understand a bit of it. I'm trying to watch the UEFA League.
Yep.
I've watched a couple matches. I believe they're called matches on the pitch.
They are.
I'm trying to get the terminology correct.
Yep, it's called the pitch.
What I don't understand, these people are incredible athletes. I get that. Why do we kick the ball forward and then turn around and kick it backwards and then go to the other side of the field and kick it forwards and then kick it backwards? I don't get it. Isn't the object to move forward towards the other goal?
So what you need to understand about soccer, and I know I tried to, in simplistic terms, think of it as hockey on grass without sticks. Okay, you have offsides. You are going to have low scoring games for the most part.
And I get that, and I don't understand the offsides in soccer. Because in hockey, it's blue lines. I get that.
Yes. So here's the
soccer
biggest
has
thing
like 9 different things to.
Nope. So here's the biggest thing with offsides. If your furthest defensive player, let's say this is your furthest defensive player, okay, right here. Here's the goal. Mm-hmm. Here's your furthest defensive player, and your offensive player, and the ball is going this way. If the ball is here and they kick it this way before it's kicked, if this offensive player is on this side of the defensive guy, and then the ball is kicked, that is offsides. He can only go on this side of the defensive player between him and the goalie once the ball is kicked.
So he can't cherry pick, in other words.
Correct.
Okay, it makes sense now. You can't cherry pick. You can't just have one guy hang out down to the other goal all game.
Correct. So that is a simplistic term, the simplistic way of explaining offsides. Now, there is obviously judgment calls. You have your one referee who is in the middle of the pitch, running back and forth and seeing whatever, and then you have your flag guys, your offsides guys. They will raise the flag if it's offsides. They are on the side. They're out of bounds on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Who decides extra time?
So extra time, call it your injury time, is decided by your. It's a kind of a factor, and I don't know the exact rule on this, so don't quote me. But I believe
you got to have David on to explain this to me. David's a big soccer guy, right?
I can't remember if it's the referee who decides that it's going to be 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is, or if it's the clock judge.
Do they take into account like time to set up corners, time to in between goals?
So when you're in extra time, or if you're at the end of the game,
mm-hmm.
So obviously what I like about soccer is it's running time. It's 45-minute halves, running time.
Right.
You're done. So a soccer match is done in no
2
more
hours.
Than 2 hours. When you take into halftime and your extra time, it's done. That's what I like about soccer. Is it's going to be action for the entire time? Well, it's not action as much as it's sometimes, back and forth. It's a chess match.
It's strategery.
Yes. That is why the ball will go back. A lot of times you'll have it coming up the side, and then, your defensive player has the ball, and instead of just booting it down the field, he's like, okay, I'm not going to boot it down there because they've got 3 defensive guys. I'm going backwards to then get it over to the other side, and then we're going to try it again. And we're going to try to set up a different offensive scheme. Maybe we're going to bring a third guy up Maybe there's going to be other ways around it. So the more you watch it, the more you will understand those types of.
Should I watch MLS or should I just stick to
No,
UEFA?
I watch. So I watch the Revolution. I don't watch them all the time, but it is a New England team. It is owned by Bob Kraft. It is our regional team. And I've been to a
good. They went to what, like 4 straight finals?
No, they've made the playoffs. So I've been to a couple of like my brother was a season ticket holder for a while. So I've been to some matches. So I enjoy going to a match and watching. It's a lot of fun. The crowd's into it. That's what I like about it.
Mm-hmm.
You're chanting.
Oh, soccer crowds are fun.
Oh man, they're fantastic. I am a Liverpool fan in the Champions League. Again,
I don't have a team yet.
Well, again, for no other reason than it's owned by the Red Sox group. So John Henry owns the Liverpool football team. So because of that, it's on NESN.
Okay.
So I watched.
I had a bunch of buddies who were AC Milan fans in high school.
Well, again, that's different. That's not the Champions League. That's the and I forget that's not the Bundesliga. That's the German.
Barclays or
I don't know. The AC Milan and the Real Madrid and those types of those bigger ones. That's part of I want to maybe it is the Champions League. I can't remember the whole terms and UEFA maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. There's so many different leagues. I don't know what to watch.
So actually, hold on one sec. I'm gonna just so I can actually be somewhat
informed on soccer.
Informed on soccer and the leagues and everything else.
Or football.
It's football.
Football.
Yes, football. Oh, Premier League is so Premier League, Champions League. What the hell's Premier League again?
Isn't that the winners of
I'm sorry. Premier League that's the Liverpool, Man U, Everton. That's your
Chelsea.
English. Chelsea, okay. Tottenham. So Man U, Manchester U, that's your Yankees of the Champions League.
That's who David Beckham played for, right?
I think so.
Okay.
So we don't like Man U because that's like the Yankee stuff. Okay. And right now, Liverpool is actually up top on the Premier standings. It goes Liverpool, it's at Leicester, whatever it is. Leicester City, Man U, Everton, Chelsea, Tottenham Hotspur. So what I like about this, though, is you get relegated. If you suck,
you're not allowed back next year.
You're not allowed back. You gotta earn your way back up. I love that. I think that's great. I
do too. It gives other teams a chance to get in.
Yeah. So that's your English Premier League. That's
what I've been watching on like CBS Sports and stuff.
Yes. So your Champions League, that's your Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Manchester City is in the Champions.
Yeah, I think they take whoever wins the Premier League and they get a spot in the Champions League.
And you play in both because Liverpool is in there as well as Chelsea. Yeah. So the Champions League is huge. It's got groups A through G.
Yeah, no, they're real big, and then their playoffs. It's set up similar to the World Cup, from what I was reading and what I understood. You have to win your group, and then you get into the Champions League playoffs. And then there's aggregate goals and stuff.
Yep.
And
yep. So you've got you got Barcelona, Juventus, Chelsea. I mean, these are your Champions League is again. There's a lot of great soccer in the Champions League. MLS is probably it would go, your Champions League, Premier League. MLS would be beneath that in terms of there are some great players in the MLS, but overall your best players will go overseas over there.
Well, soccer's not appreciated in the States.
No,
and I've been that way for a while. Like I've oh, a lot of my friends played soccer, but let's face it, I'm not a soccer player. And you always had your debate, and it's not really a debate. They're different. Oh, you're just a football player. You're not in condition like a soccer player. Well, yeah, you run a lot, but every time I run a lap, I get hit in the stomach with a 2x4. That's kind of what football is,
So football is 8 to 10 seconds of madness, and then 30 seconds of standing around.
Trying to figure out where your brain is.
Trying to figure. Well, no, I know it's not just standing around. I'm just saying, from an action standpoint.
Oh yeah.
It's bursts of action. It's 8 to 10 seconds of action, and then 30 seconds of standing around, then 8 to 10 seconds of action. Where soccer, because it's running time, there's always action. Now, it doesn't mean you're sprinting the entire time,
right?
Because a lot of times you're walking. A lot of times you're jogging.
Yeah. Right.
I'm going to say most of the time you're jogging with occasional sprints. You get the ball, and now all of a sudden it's sprinting towards the goal. I would say your soccer athletes are more athletic in terms of your conditioning,
and and that's not to say that there aren't incredibly conditioned NFL players, because I know there are. I've played with a few of them.
Yeah.
There are a couple of guys. DeVito. DeVito was a big dude at UVA.
But
he could run a mile in 8 minutes.
Right, but it's a different type of conditioning for football than it is for soccer. Yeah. Some of the soccer guys are really strong, but they're wiry strong. They're not
like Nigel from The Replacements.
Right. Yeah.
And for anybody who thinks an 8-minute mile is slow, by the way, Mike DeVito was 335 pounds and ran an 8-minute mile. That's not slow.
Right. No. Well. No, but a soccer player is probably going to run a mile in 5.5 minutes.
Yeah,
because it's a different 350. It's a different type of conditioning.
Exactly.
At the same time, baseball is a different type of conditioning than football, which is different than soccer. Which all the sports have a different type of conditioning. To be a top, it used to be with golf. People would be like, you could be fat and lazy and whatever and be out of shape and play. Well, you could. But you weren't going to last 4 rounds. Those golfers now.
Daly. That's why Daly didn't win a lot. Yeah, he won a couple tournaments, but
and then he got injured.
He'd shoot great the Thursday, Friday night he'd get drunk. Saturday he'd play hungover and tired, and Sunday the wheels would fall off because he was just done.
Right. So it's you look at your golfers now and you see they're in the weight room, you see them on the treadmill, you see them on the bike, they're in shape, and that was something Gary Player was way ahead of his time in the weight training and just general body physique, taking care of yourself. And then Tiger transformed it to the next level, and now guys
like Phil though have lengthened their career. You look at Phil Mickelson over the last 3-4 years. He went from chubby Phil, now Phil's cut.
Yep, but Phil focuses more on his legs because that's where he gets his power from. Where a Tony Finau or a Brooks Koepka, they focus more on their torso and their chest and their arms because that's where they get their power from.
What does Bryson focus on?
Bryson ate a cow.
I think
and then
Bryson,
worked out. He put.
Do you think he has had an unplanned meal in 2 years?
No.
Or do you think he's just, I eat this day, I eat this time, I eat this I do this time?
The only thing that changes for him is his tea time. So if his tea time is in the morning, he has this for breakfast at this time, and it's going to be 38 eggs with 82 pancakes. You know what I mean? And it's not because he's fat. It's because the dude is so large that he has to have all these calories
to maintain muscle.
To maintain the muscle.
He went from, I don't see how in 1 year, and I mean I can see it because I see him do it, but I don't see how you go from hitting the golf ball an average of 310 yards to driving it almost 400.
Technology and weights, technology and strength, and
his swing, his driver swing.
It's ridiculous.
Unreal.
It's ridiculous. And I would love to see, you know what, to me, what I would love to see with professional golf, it's almost like with NASCAR.
Restrictor drivers?
Like restrictor drivers. I personally, I love the restrictor plate races, like Talladega, Daytona, things like that, because everybody is right there.
You like crashes, though.
No, I don't like. Well, okay. I'm a fan of race car driving. I'm a fan of NASCAR. Obviously, I love crashes. I don't want to see anyone get hurt, but it's kind of fun sometimes to see your 17 car crash and whatever else. But what I like about it, it places a premium on the driver and their abilities as a driver. You have to have incredible hand-eye coordination when you're doing 200 miles an hour and you're 3 inches off the bumper in front of you.
Yes, your reaction time has to be, because you can't see either. You can only see out your windshield. You can't see your blind spots.
Right. To sit there and say that NASCAR drivers are not athletes, a lot has changed in 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are athletes because of what they have to do. So if you translate that to golf, what I would love to see is you've got a field, everybody plays the same clubs. Everybody plays the same ball. You are provided the clubs and balls by the PGA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's your golfing ability that gets you the win.
I don't 100% agree with that, and here's why. Just like, I know I am never going to play a draw. It's just not going to happen for me. I buy clubs that are set up to limit my slice.
But you're not a professional golfer.
I understand that, but you got guys that play different loft drivers. You got guys that play different stiffness.
But if everybody, let me ask you a question. If everybody had the same setup, okay, your driver was a 9-degree loft. Everybody had a 60-degree wedge. If that in the I'm talking PGA, your professional golfers only. If everybody had the same setup, would it then come down to your creativity, your abilities? Your ability to draw the ball and fade the ball is not set up by your club. It's set up by you, the player. Personally, that's what I'd like to see. Instead of Bryson having, whatever his setups are with the shafts, because you've got now 832 shafts to choose from.
Well, also, all of Bryson DeChambeau's clubs are the same length.
No, I know.
And I find that incredible. Like, I don't know how your pitching wedge is the same length as your 4-iron.
Because it's all loft. It's all loft based. That's what he bases his stuff on.
I think Bryson doesn't win a golf tournament if you take away his clubs.
Bryson is an incredible talent that has
Bryson,
allowed.
back when he was in college, yes, he could play any set of clubs and he could win because he knew his game. He was a smart golfer. He is now a power golfer he's trying to be a power golfer that has a great short game because he knows he'll be within 60 yards of the hole.
And it's not working for him.
What's going to suck is they're going to start lengthening golf courses more instead of regulating the equipment.
I don't think they'll start lengthening. I think you'll start seeing, you know what? We are now going to put trees here. We are now going to put traps here.
But that makes it so guys like you and I can't go play nice courses because we'd shoot 200.
No, because what they're doing is they're going to Bryson-proof it by putting trees places where if he's trying to go over the trees, you got a dog leg left, and you got an opening after the trees, and now they're just going to extend the trees.
Or they're going to put a sand trap there.
Or they're going to put sand traps over there or something like that. You and I aren't cutting corners like that. We're playing it the way it's designed. We're playing the dog leg. Yeah, we might try to take away a little bit of the dog leg, but we're not, for the most part, let's face it, we're not going up and over trees. I mean, I know I try sometimes, but
in a scramble or an appropriate situation.
Right. But if I'm playing my own ball, I'm playing differently anyway. Because I'm playing backwards, meaning I'm going from the green back, going, okay, I want to be 130 yards from the green because with this one I like my pitching wedge. So to get to that 130, I got to hit a 5-wood. So I'm not hitting driver.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of how if I'm playing my own ball, I'm playing it backwards because I want to know my approach shot into the green. I want to be 75 yards in because I love my 60-degree wedge.
And I'm getting that way. Instead of me always just trying to get close to the green, like I thought I was supposed to do. Now on a par 5, I'm going, all right, I don't care what it says when I have it. What do I have to the 100 stake? And I want to get to the 100 stake because I know I put my 52-degree wedge in my hand from 100 yards out. That's my 100 club right now.
Yeah.
But as I found out with bowling, you lose a lot of weight. You start hitting the ball further because your swing doesn't look junky anymore.
Right.
So now I'm like when I went away for a week to play golf, put my 52 in my hand, I was 101 out. And I'm like, all right, this is perfect. And I went over and I went, what happened? Why'd that go that far? That's not supposed to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we've gone way over what our normal time would be.
Well, it's a special Christmas edition, so Merry Christmas, everyone.
It's a special Christmas edition of you staring at two lovely faces of Brian and Tim.
Happy Festivus for the rest of us.
So I will simply say Merry Christmas for those of you that don't. Good words, Tim. Use your words. For those of you that don't celebrate Christmas, happy holidays.
Happy late Kwanzaa.
Happy late Kwanzaa. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas
Hanukkah.
Yeah, Merry Christmas Hanukkah.
Yes.
So I am going to surprise Brian and say next week edition. Let's do something like a New Year's resolution type thing for I don't know.
Send us your resolutions. We'll read them on air.
I don't typically do resolutions because I know I'm going to break them. But let's say we take 20 people in our minds, like Calvin Locke. For the next year, I hope you don't get syphilis or something like that.
Why do you, Tim?
I don't know. That was the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know.
Really?
Oh God! That herpes gonorrhoeae. I tell you what, that's some nasty shit right there. But we'll come up with some type of fun format. We'll have some fun with it. It will be our final podcast of the year.
2020 Ripping the Rack Awards resolutions.
Yes.
Show.
Yes.
Awards and predictions.
Awards and predictions for bowling or just for in general?
In general.
We'll come
up with 10 unique awards or 5 unique awards for each of us. And then we'll come up with 5 predictions.
Okay, I'm so going to forget this, so you're going to have to remind me mid next week.
Write it down.
Too late. I've already put my pen and paper away.
Okay. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas. Thank you for listening. Have a great week. Be safe.
Peace.